Okay, for this next one, it's referenced over here on our table. And we've never shown you this before. So what you need here is you need a mirrored structure. So here I have an AMP, as you can quickly tell. So a fast way to convert it to a mirrored structure is just an over-under or an under-over, mange. Okay, so it's mirrored now. Okay, now you can mix this significantly, actually. Use some of our structure preserving procedures. Here I'm just using the stay stack principle. So I'm just doing a left, right, random stacking. Okay, and we could have done some mixing before we even converted it to a mirrored structure. The key is you just want to mix it enough that the spectator believes that, okay, well, no one really could know where anything is. And it doesn't take more than 3 or 4 of the many shuffles I've shown you to convince most anyone of that. Okay, so you eventually get back to a mirrored structure, which this one is, of course. Okay, and this effect applies to any even size mirrored packet. Okay, so what you do is, now that we've mixed this, mix this, you deal off the top card. Okay, you just kind of set it aside there. Now we know where the kind of mirrored mate is, right? That's the ace. Well, this is the mirrored packet, so it's on the bottom. Well, that's in a very special place, right? For this third time's a charm. You remember that? That's from, let me bring up the book here. So remember this idea of overcoding 3 times, overcoding the same number 3 times, or this off-centered overcoding that this is talked about. Okay, so because it was mirrored, if we take off the top card, we know its matching mate is on the bottom. And for these routines shown here in the book Mathematical Card Magic, 52 New Card Effects, which I've mentioned, I highly recommend that you pick this up if you're at all interested in some real mathematical card magic. We have this card of interest at the bottom. That's where it begins. The effects mentioned in that book there. Well, it's naturally down there because the packet was mirrored. Okay, so that's very, very nice. Okay, and so now you're just really limited by your own imagination for coming up with a narrative or a reason to overcoat a name or a word or a number 3 times. And he calls it low down triple dealing. But I prefer this name, third time's the charm, because then you can justify why you're doing something 3 times. Because, well, apparently 2 times sometimes is just not enough. You need to do it a 3rd time and wow, magic occurs. Okay, so third time's the charm. You can ask them, have you heard of that before? Okay, so you have to realize, okay, we had 14 cards, we now have 13. An overcoat is where you count out and transfer 50% or more of the cards. Well, we have 13 here, so that would have to be 7 or more. 7 to 13 cards would have to be overcoated. Okay? And I just thought of something right this second. It's kind of funny that it's right in between a lucky and an unlucky number. Okay, I truly this popped into my little head. And 7 is considered by many people to be lucky, it's a lucky number, and 13 is unlucky. In fact, you'll even have silly hotels that skip the 13th floor because of superstitious people out there. So you could even sell it that way, which I think I'm going to add that to my repertoire of ways of selling this, is you could say, well, you've heard that the number 7 is a lucky number. You know, people have had great success with that number. There's 7 days in the week, and you know, we give reasons as to maybe why it's special. And you probably have also heard that 13 is considered to be by many an unlucky number. Friday the 13th. awful things can happen, right? Well, what I need you to do is I need you to choose a number between 7 and 13, okay? And I suppose you could even have them avoid 7 or 13, choose a number strictly in between. It doesn't matter. Doing 13 is kind of boring because you just steal out all of the cards. Okay, that's kind of lame. So you could say, because that 13 is an unlucky number, I think you'd be wise to choose a number between 7 and 13, but stay away from that 13. Now, it ends up that if they choose 13, everything here works just fine. So it won't cause a problem. So if they want to be evil or funny about the whole thing, they could choose 13 and you are not in trouble in the least. But you can say, well, maybe, to just keep Lady Luck on our side, why don't you choose a number between 7, but not quite up to 13? So 7 to 12, those are probably safe. And so any number they choose in there is going to work for us. So maybe they'll say 9. They choose 9. Okay. So appealing to the third time's a charm. So you're going to count out 9 cards 3 times and see if that brings you good luck here. Or perhaps 9 is a little too close to 13, so everything will fall apart or whatever. Okay. So can you see that you just use your own imagination to come up with ways to kind of draw on things right around you in the room or something about the individual that personalizes it. So you just make it up on the spot, because that's exactly what I'm doing here. Everything I've just told you I've never done before, but guess what? After this recording, I'm going to jot those down. So maybe they choose 9. You go, ooh, yeah, that's probably safe. It's closer to 7 than it is 13. So we'll count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's 1. Done. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, third time's a charm. Let's see if it brings us the luck we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. Did you choose a number close enough to our lucky number? How would we know? I mean, how would you know if something fortunate has happened? Well, most people think something fortunate has happened if it's good, and also if it's unlikely, like winning the lottery. Super unlikely, and for most people, they would see that as a good thing. Well, okay, it looks like that top card, after all that mixing at the beginning, brought up the Ace of Spades. Ooh, that's a nice card. It almost has a certain mystique to it. Okay, let's see if something lucky for us happened. I think it surely has. Look at that. And you can remind them that there's no other aces in here. There are no other aces that could have been matched up with that Ace of Spades. Okay, so anyway, that's just one example of using this overcoding idea together with a structure, in particular a mirrored structure, because the mirrored mate, after you choose that top card, will be at the bottom, which is where we need it for these wonderful effects shown in this book here on the left-hand side of the screen.